If you're a piano lover in any way, shape, or form, or a music lover, this video might be a little bit hard to watch. I'm here to dismantle this piano. I have to explain though, before you start hating on me on the comments, unfortunately, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, any of the free cycle groups that exist out there, even in your local newspaper, pianos like this are regularly given away. Yes, I'll repeat that. They are given away and unsuccessfully given away, unfortunately. They are notoriously heavy and most moving companies are not going to move them for you. You actually have to hire a specialized piano mover like Don Piano to move these for you. So there's a big expense in moving them. You also need to hire somebody to come in and to tune the piano for you once you get it in your home. And then it takes up a lot of space. And unfortunately, most people don't want to put in that expense and don't have the space for them. So what happens? They end up in landfills. That's it. They're thrown away. And if you don't know me, my name is Anik and I'm the artist and owner behind Do Re Mi, Bracelets, etc. And I believe that music doesn't belong in the trash. I take pieces like these piano strings, these piano keys, all of these beautiful materials, and I transform them into beautiful jewelry like this necklace or this bracelet. And this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to be dismantling this piano, but to put the pieces into good use and to ensure that these materials do not end up in the dump. Got my handy dandy screwdriver. I'm going to come in here and remove this piece here so that I can actually remove this front plate. I've taken some of the screws off here and removing this first piece here. And as you can see, this is some really nice solid wood. And this piece here, so I just took a few screws off. There was one here and one on the side. And again, got a lovely, beautiful piece of wood here. Now it's just a question of getting these screws out here so that I can take out this front plate, which normally comes in to cover the keys, which lead right up here to the hammers, which hit the strings. If you've never seen how a piano actually works, when I touch the keys here, you'll see that it moves this whole key here, which displaces that hammer, which hits those keys. So with some of the higher keys, there are 3 strings per key. And then when you come over here to these copper covered strings, again, if I hit this key, moves this whole mechanism, hits the string, and then you get that beautiful deep note. So here, there's some of these screws, just take down. And another one here. Once I've got these 2 screws out, these 2 out, then we can remove this front plate. So imagine making a great shelf out of something like this, right? Wouldn't that be wonderful? I think this has potential. I think this has a lot of potential. What do you think? What can I make out of it? Okay, let's move on to the other pieces. You can see, again, the keys. This is actually the entire key. A lot of people think that it's just this front piece, but this whole length is called the piano key, this whole length of wood. Okay, and as I push it, it moves up, moves that hammer, and gets down to that beautiful copper string to make that beautiful deep noise. Note, I should say, not noise. That beautiful deep note. Okay, so I've taken this little bracket off here And this helps me to remove this large panel right here. And, a little bit of dust. Now we can see where the larger strings and the smaller strings are. Now I've got access to those strings. So now that we've removed the front and the other front panel here, we've got access to the keys, got access to the strings. This is probably the most dangerous and the saddest part of this tear down. We are going to be, or I am going to be removing the strings. The tension here is absolutely enormous. So if I am not careful, if I was standing in front of these strings when I was going to come and cut them, there is a good chance that these could whip out and hurt me. So I'm going to put on my safety glasses, and I'm going to make sure that I am standing beside the piano as I cut these strings and as we hear what I like to call the last symphony of the piano. So I'm going to move this back just so that you can still see what's happening. You're definitely going to hear what's happening. Handy dandy pliers, and we're going to get to work to cutting these strings. Are you ready? Here's the first one. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. You can see I'm going to put you off to the side so it doesn't get damaged. And as I see, I'm just coming in here and snipping this part of the wire here. Now I could use a tool and individually unscrew these bits here, but if I were to do that, that would take a lot of time, and these aren't parts that I'm going to save. And these are actually all, and you see there's one per string here, but here there's actually several. And all of these bolts here, including also these screws, this is what holds this huge metal plate, which is, I believe, called the sound plate. If somebody knows the actual right answer, correct me. And this is all what's keeping this huge metal plate attached to the back of this piano. And we're going to hear again the last symphony, safety glasses on, of this piano. You can see down underneath, I'm going to bring these down here so you'll be able to see what happens as I am cutting these strings. This is the last string that I cut, and if you look down here at the bottom, there's just a loop. I don't know if you can see that. So this was attached just here, and it was held up to the top by those bolts. And now as I'm cutting the strings at the top, these are just coming off right here and flying out. So you can see how dangerous this is. Again, why I'm wearing those safety glasses. We're gonna again hear some of those final notes. A few more copper strings here. They're just flying off almost like gunshots. Really trying to make sure I'm keeping my legs out of the way so that if anything flies out, I am not getting hurt. You can see these beautiful copper wires, and they're the same ones that I use to make bracelets like this one. Okay, so took off the safety glasses, got my regular glasses back on. So I will be cutting these down in just a minute, the non-copper wires, but while I'm here, I'm going to show you these keys. So what I can do here is, because I have been able to remove everything else, I'm now able to remove this key. And as I said earlier, a lot of people think that just this top part here is what we call the piano key, but this is actually what we call the piano key topper. And obviously we've got the white keys and the black keys. In the olden times, or in the older pianos, these would be made out of genuine ivory and ebony. In this case, it's not ivory. But this entire piece is what's called the piano key. This whole, I sometimes call it the piano arm, but it's actually, this is the entire piano key, which, as I said before, reaches this mechanism to get to the hammers. So now these things are also going to be, you guessed it, repurposed. Now, one really cool thing about pianos is that they have, well, a lot of keys. They have 88 keys in total. And what happens is that if I'm a piano repair person and I'm coming in and I want to fix some of these keys, well, it could be a real problem if I was to mix them up. So what happens is, if you look closely, these keys are actually numbered from 1 all the way up to, you guessed it, 88 keys. So if I were to be fixing this piano and wanted to make sure that I put the right keys in the right place, I don't know if you can see that they're sort of angled, different angles depending on where I'm at on the piano. By having the keys numbered, I can make sure that I'm putting the keys back in the right order. So now it's just a question of lifting these out. So you can see how these keys normally would fit together, right, as such. Now you could see where if I didn't keep them in order, well, that could be a problem. And just removing all of these keys. Still got some music in it. As I said, I'll be kind of a last symphony there. Maybe this piece here. And the last notes. And so the keys are gone. And what we have left is a lot of dust, some hairpins, and over here, I don't know if you can see it, a gold star. Again, handy dandy screwdriver. Again, I'll be able to get in here to remove these screws. And we have some keys, or we have some hammers. All of this, all of these hundreds and hundreds of pieces come apart in one piece. So it took a bit of work, but I was able to retrieve the pedals. I'm gonna have fun making something out of these. I'm not sure what I'm gonna make yet, but I'm gonna have fun. As I was moving things around, listen to what I heard. Or I could play something much more mysterious. To remember again what this piano looked like before and after. I've got all those pieces, the strings, the keys, some of the wood, the pedals, all those pieces that will now be upcycled and saved from the landfill.